What it do, what it do, what it do, and welcome back to the Weekly Wind Down, your favorite chat show hosted by yours truly, Jer Bear, aka Jeremiah Neal, aka the Pop Culture Maven, aka, I'm feeling very velvet rope today, okay? Anywho, what it do, y'all? What it do, what it do? Y'all already know I'm sending them sunflowers, some positive vibes, all the positive energy, all's y'all's way this summer. I have to say, y'all, I am really enjoying this summer energy, okay? It feels like summer for once. Despite your girl going through a few hurdles, everybody go through life hurdles though, so I don't try to dwell on it too much. But I would definitely say the positives are definitely outweighing the negatives, and I love feeling that way, girl. It be feeling like, oh, life is worth living, which is such a great feeling, y'all. I'm trying to say because I used to declare myself as like only a fall and spring girly, like it has to be 65 degrees, and I don't like the sweat, and I don't like the sun. And now for me to be so drawn to the summer season and its energies and like wanting to be outside and just absorbing it all, it truly is a time of the season for loving, okay? But nevertheless, y'all, fun news. I am actually on my way to Washington, D.C., to the DMV. Sexy ladies. Needs to get my mumbo sauce, girl. I need to get some chicken wings. But yes, girl, I'm going to go see some family and some friends over there, so I'm very excited. I'm going to be hitting up some museums. Y'all know I love a museum. Call me a tourist. Outside of being the maven, y'all, I'm the biggest tourist. Like, I want to go to the museums. I want to absorb all the knowledge. I want to just do it all. Very, very, very excited to absorb all the cool, because that's the one thing about DC. I love the architecture. It gives very like old school Europe, which I love. So I love looking at all the buildings and how they sculpt things. And it's just very cool, very interesting, very dope. Mind y'all, the last time that I was in DC, two major things happened. Number one, y'all best friend, y'all bestie, allegedly, and heavy on the alleged, got shot in the ear during that crazy heat wave. Oh my gosh. I remember it being such a peculiar time because I talk about being a tourist, but I was taking one of them double-decker buses and the fans on the bus broke. It was 101 degrees. And then I get back around 2 p.m. and then all of a sudden the president got shot. And witnessing it with one of my friends who's like such a political savvy queen, it was just a very surreal moment. So, and then look how far we've come, y'all. And then number two, y'all, probably one of the coolest moments ever that has occurred in my life, something that I treasure and will hold until my grave, y'all. I got to meet the legendary, the wonderful, the queen of pop, Miss Janet, if you nasty. Okay, it has to be the most surreal experience of my life. So if y'all ready to hear all the details about me meeting the queen, Miss Janet Jackson, please just go ahead, sit back, relax, go and get you a snack, or go ahead and get on a walk, do something, but just be ready to get into the groove, girl. Not me singing one of her competitors, girl. Janet gonna come beat me up, y'all. All right, y'all. We're going back to the summer of 2024. It was a very interesting time for me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was very burnt out from work. Okay, at the time I was working. Girl, always 2 jobs, works hard. She's a bad broad. Why do I always be putting that on myself? But I was working a full-time career job, salary job, and then I also was doing freelance editing, vibes, social media marketing as well. So feeling like I had to like climb this imaginary ladder, I ended up always feeling like the need to go on some type of trip or some type of vacation to just have some type of escapism, which we all know is not like a very healthy pattern to absorb. But nevertheless, I was gonna go on a trip, girl. So I was like, let me go ahead and go to the East Coast. And I hit up one of my besties since middle school who I hadn't seen in such a long time, and she had recently moved to Virginia. I hadn't been to DC since I was a damn safety patrol. Who remember the safety patrol? Okay, I was top notch monitoring the bike rack. So that was a very proud moment for me. But not visiting DC since then, I'm like, girl, you got to go see what the city's all about. Go hang out in Virginia, go see her. So while in the area, I was like, why don't you look up to see who's in town, who's playing a gig? Because if y'all know, concerts in LA be like 3x, 4x the prices of like other cities, which is so annoying. I was so tempted to go see the Renaissance tour in Arizona, girl, because the pit for that show was like $400, which in LA was going for $1,800. So you end up spending less flying to another city, booking a hotel room, and going to the concert than you do paying to just go see the show in Los Angeles. I always thought that was such like a weird vibe, and how capitalistic societies like really can ruin the experience for the Popholics, y'all. That is just so annoying. Let us go see these dang shows and at a good view. You don't need to be having the nosebleed seats in order to have a good time. That's not fair. That's not how it used to be back in the day. Okay, but nevertheless, I get on Ticketmaster and I saw that the Queen Janet was performing in the DMV. So I was like, let's go see Janet, the Together Again tour. I was seeing the stuff on social media. That's when the meme, somebody smoking up in here, was popping off at the time. So I was like, oh, let me go support my girl Janet. Snagged the tickets and then we kept on pushing. This was probably May, June. So a couple of weeks before the trip, I let my boss of the stationery store that I was working at know that I was heading on vacation, and part of my vacation, I was going to go see Janet. Do you know, she said so casually, oh, you know, my husband knows her. I was supposed to go to her LA show, but I don't really know her music like that, so I didn't go. Y'all, I wish you could have seen my face. I wish I could have seen my face, because there is just like, first of all, I'm like, why would you pass up on seeing the queen of all queens, okay? Especially when it comes to entertainment. Like, I would have killed for that. But then secondly, I'm like, LA is so freaking small. I've been knowing this lady for like 5 years at this point, and we have had so many conversations, but I guess it may be because it's been so work related that we never got on the subject of like my love for pop culture, which is important. This is why it's so important for y'all to like be who you are in the workplace, because we should have been know that you knew Janet Jackson, girl. But yeah, it's crazy. Your degree of separation of like your favorite act, favorite pop star, whomever, is so small. It's so crazy. Anywho, she hit me with a, well, you know, let me know what day you're going and I'll try to see if you can meet her. I'll try to see if you can get backstage. Now, y'all, when I be getting hit with stuff like that, I instantly just shoo away the idea, the possibility that that's going to come to fruition. Because one thing about me, I hate disappointment so much. I hate being let down. Too many times it's happened in my life to the point where I just like shield myself from hearing exciting things like that or feeling excitement, which stinks because like if little Jared knew, first of all, like how cool is that you know someone that knows this lady, your favorite pop singer, you know what I mean, that you've been listening to since you've been 3-4 years old. And the fact that your career led you to this particular proximity, even that is so wild to me. That is so cool, little Jared Bear, you know? But on the flip side of that, knowing myself, knowing how I react, I was like, don't get your hopes up. I sent her the info anyway. I let her know the dates, but I was like, we still just gonna go to the show. We still just gonna have a good time, and we kept it pushing. Now we're getting to the day of the show. The concert was on a Friday, y'all, which was the first day of the heat wave of that weekend, which is crazy. And I flew into town that day. Number one, do not book a concert the same day that you fly out. My anxiety was going through the roof that morning. Like, oh my goodness, what if I get a delay? What if I miss this show? Yada, yada, yada. We obviously made it into town and everything went smoothly, but I do not recommend that, okay? Always do the day before, especially at how TSA and stuff be working at these airports. I've been just seeing too many crazy stories. So we get into town. I sent my boss a friendly text letting her know that I made it into town. And she was like, okay, so after the show, you're just going to go to gate A and you're going to ask for Wallace and he's going to get you backstage. And that was it. It wasn't no go get no credentials, no get a badge, you know, something legit. And so after I saw that, I was like, okay, this is really not going to happen. This is just so far-fetched, you know, because listen, I've had my fair share of going to concerts, so I know the ropes and the ins and outs of things. And especially for someone as like legendary as her, I just definitely felt like you need a little bit more pizzazz to get on through. But anywho, I could instantly feel again, little Jared kind of like tensing up because y'all, I remember vividly when my dad and his wife went to go see the Velvet Rope tour when I was 6 or 7. And I remember sitting there being so jealous, sitting there with the babysitter because I wanted to go. Even at that time, I knew it was so adult and yada, 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 but I still wanted to go. But I had to alchemize like that feeling of not being able to meet my idol, but being able to understand I'm about to go watch her perform for the first time in my life. Like it still is a wonderful feeling. So I had to convert that potential future disappointment into excitement of the fact that I still was about to go see her perform and kill the stage. Cause y'all know I'm the stand of all stands. So I pull up to the venue. I got epic seats, y'all. To the left, to the left. I was on the very like first row of the first level. So I had like a perfect view of the stage and recording. Now back then, y'all, I probably had the iPhone 11 or 12. So the concert footage was definitely not the best with the Zoom, but we have upgraded. It was interesting to observe. People think it's possibly weird for people to go to shows by themselves, but I love going to concerts by myself. I think it's so dope to just go there because I'm there for the music. First of all, I'm not there for the judgments of people to my right or to the left. I've met some of my coolest friends at a concert. So I definitely not saying like, don't vibe out and meet people, but I definitely encourage y'all, please go to concerts, even if it's at an arena. I feel like you should obviously safely, but go. If you love music, if you love an artist, that's the truest way to experience such a joy that people don't know exists until they go. Now, Nelly was her opening act, which I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it was a very crunk show. I was having the time of my life, but this is before he confirmed. I feel like he confirmed later on that year that he was magalicious, but y'all just know that I was chicken head for my life. It was an epic opening act. He had the old heads on their feet. That was another thing I thought was so cool. I would say like the median or average age at the show was definitely giving like 45, 50 girl. So for me to be like the baby in the crowd, that was also something interesting for me. I'm used to being like the oldest person at the show, or like, I don't know, folks my age, but yeah, that was something. But he had them on their feet dancing and doing their thing and drinking. I was like, oh, this is a moment. I love this. And then we get to the legendary moment. The queen takes the stage. Now, I try to avoid, this is my thing. If I know I'm going to go to the concert, I avoid social media because I don't want the experience to be ruined. I don't want to see no set list. Stop ruining set lists. Can we just go to the concert and have the experience? Like, why do people want to know every single little detail? But anywho, I think I did a good job with this because I was enamored, especially by the intro. She had like a huge stage. I was surprised that she only had 4 dancers, but the way the stage was set up, the music, the first, I want to say 35 minutes of the show felt like one song. It literally just flowed like one song back to back to back to back. And I loved that element of it. I was in a trance almost. Shout out to Dean Anthony with the amazing, cool, creative direction. The concert in itself was amazing. She's an artist that does a lot of album tracks and a lot. First of all, Janet's catalog is crazy. It goes back into the 80s. So of course she was going to be doing songs that not a lot of people knew, but she also found a way to incorporate the hits, whether it was her performing it or if they were doing like an interlude or intermission, she would put it into that type of music. The interlude, no, it wasn't an interlude, it's an intermission track, I guess. Or she had like visuals on the screens of her old music videos. And she did get all the stuff in there from Rhythm Nation, everything you can think of, y'all. She incorporated into the show. So my girl honestly tore down, and I'm so glad I got to see that. I'm so glad I hope I get to see her again, but I'm so glad I got to see her at least once live because she truly is a star of all stars and honestly one of the true last ones that we have. All right, y'all. So the show is over. It's after the show. I'm very reluctant to follow these directions because I'm like, this is just not going to work out. This doesn't make any sense. Like I said, I've been to a concert or two, so I know you have to have credentials to get backstage to meet people. But anywho, I head over to the gate and I don't see nobody over there, y'all. It is literally a ghost town. There's no bar. There's no nothing. There's nobody over there. I see an elevator. Occasionally there'll be like the security guard that will walk back and forth, but even he wasn't even pressing me. I think everybody was just tired. It was hot. So I'm like, okay. So while just standing there for a good like 15 minutes, I ended up texting my boss just like a message of gratitude, being like, thank you so much for even thinking of me for trying to do this, but I think I'm going to head out just because it's getting late and I don't see anyone over here. And she was like, just walk up to anybody that you see that works there and say that you need wallets. So I said, okay, let me just try this shit out one more time. So I walk over to the same elevator that I'm telling y'all about and I say, hi, do you know anyone with the name Wallace? While I say this, y'all, a person is walking by in earshot and turns their neck and it's like, hey, that's me. This is straight out of a movie. I'm like, there's just no way, y'all. He's like, so what's up? And I explain the situation. And then he gives me this look like, okay, and girl, because that's not enough to just say who you are or whatever. And then I was like, oh, I work for so-and-so. And he was like, oh, okay. Oh, that's all you had to say. Follow me. Girl, what? Is that easy? Like, there's no way. So I'm like, okay, this is too wild. I'm just going to go for it, whatever. So right past the elevator, I never knew because you can't really see this part, but there was like an access door. I'll go behind that access door, go down some steps, and then all of a sudden I see a whole line of people with their credentials, all dressed up for the show, etc., waiting for the VIP friends and family meet and greet line, y'all. Oh my gosh, mind you, again, I need to reiterate, I have no credentials. It's the middle of a heat wave. It's a lot going on. My mind is racing, but I'm feeling kind of optimistic because I done made it this far. So the fact that I even made it into the line and I'm behind the closed doors and I was escorted there, I was like, oh, this is very promising. They take us into like this holding backstage room. I can't really tell. I was trying to see like what it would have been for the athletes or something. Maybe that's what it was, like a hangout room for the athletes backstage, but it had a couple tables, etc. And we was just sitting there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is really, really weird. In the interim of that, I kept having random security people walking up to me and being like, I see no credentials. Some people have no credentials in here. You not gonna meet her. I don't know how you got here, but you don't have no credentials. But I have to say, shout out to Wallace for coming in and checking in and holding it down, because he was very protective of me. And I definitely was feeling anxious because I showed up didn't have no credentials. Finally, someone walks around this corner and she screams, follow me, single file line. We all hop up, we walk in a single file line. I remember doing a small recording of myself. Maybe I'll post it on TikTok. Small recording of myself having a panic attack. So I was like, girl, this is the moment. Like, you done made it this far. It's either gonna be real bad or real good, but I'm about to fall out. We get into this awesome, cool ass green room. It was dimly lit with these purple lights and they had cool snacks and shit. And I'm like, okay. We were just standing there. We got these little goodie bags. And then this other person comes around the corner. And I guess it had to be someone from Janet's team, because now that I'm thinking about it, they had on a Janet shirt with lanyards and stuff like this. Y'all have to keep in mind though, I'm like, again, hyperventilating. I'm about to meet the queen. So they give us a speech about like what you're allowed to do. You can hug, but you can't like, yada, yada, yada. Passing out, freaking out. I'm mentally checked out, but I'm trying to just like not faint, because I got a habit of fainting, y'all. When I get over like my brain, the circuits go crazy. I have a habit of passing out. So I was like, you need to just breathe, girl. So I'm doing my breathing exercises. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, someone ripped open that curtain and there she was, y'all. And they just shoved me in there. I remember stalling out for a good like 3 seconds. And I remember someone just like gently pushing my back to be like, okay, come on, girl. So I walk in there. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freaking Janet Jackson. So then I rush over to her and I give her this big hug. It felt like the longest hug, but I'm pretty sure it was probably only 2 or 3 seconds. Then in true Jared passion, y'all, I go straight into A&R mode. I'm over here talking about, Janet, why didn't you release Take Me Away as your last single? This was a song that was on her Unbreakable album that came out in 2015. That song got me through so many tough times. It's a smash, girl. Like, oh my gosh, you should have released that. And I just remember her staring at me with just like this, like, it was almost like a childlike grin, but she was just smiling like, okay. She did say, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But it's just so funny. Out of all the things that I could have talked about with this lady, obviously I told her, y'all, how much I love her and how much she has an influence on me. But out of all the things, that's what I chose to do with Janet Jackson, is sit there and break down as to why she should have released a certain song as a single. But that just goes to show you, like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is my life path. Everybody always says you have to follow your passions, or you're supposed to be following the things that make you happy from within. That, and how it was so innate for me to do that with one of the biggest global superstars of the world, y'all. Like, I'm meant to be doing that. But nevertheless, we took our picture and then that was it, y'all. It was probably maybe like a 45-second to a minute interaction. It wasn't very long, but I have my little photo. That was also another thing, because they told us that they were going to be like emailing us the photos or whatever. But y'all, I didn't have no credentials. So Wallace ended up giving me his contact information after I left the meet and greet. And then 2 weeks later, he texted me the photo. Everything fell in alignment so crazy. I don't want to say I've never had moments like that, but in a circumstance where it was like 99.99999% going against my favor, y'all, with not having like what you needed, the tools of life to get you to the final destination, the fact that I made it and I got my photo evidence of it, again, eternally grateful. 45 seconds truly felt like a lifetime. And I remember exiting the building, I truly hit a euphoria moment. I was on cloud 9, like I hit my ceiling of joy. I know what peak joy feels like in life. And that's the true tea of life. Like, shout out to Miss Jackson, her team, for having such a goal. You would think someone with her stature would have, I don't know, just a harder way for something like that to work out for someone like me. But maybe that was just the universe working out for your girl. You know what I mean? But shout out to Miss Leanna for that amazing, crazy hookup. Oh my gosh. And shout out to Little Jer Bear for pushing through and making sure that we ensured that this moment came to fruition. I'm so glad that you followed the quest, because we sure as hell got the reward, boo boo. And oh my goodness, what a memory. What a memory. Anywho, y'all, I figured I'd close out by choosing my top 5 Janet records. Okay, now mind y'all, this rotates every single day because her catalog is number 1, so extensive, but I also just love so many songs of her. But how I'm feeling today? Number 5, Got Till It's Gone, y'all. Oh, first of all, Q-Tip, the energy of that, like, I'm so glad I live in New York, Bed-Stuy. Walking down the streets, that's how I feel. That could be like the soundtrack of my life living here. Shout out to the Joni Mitchell sample, but it's so true. Like, sometimes you don't be really paying attention until it's not in the picture anymore. You have time to reflect instead of just not appreciating it when it was right in your face. And I learned that lesson the hard way. with many things in my life, but I love how she translates that message in such a calm, cool, suave way. So go check out that record if you haven't heard it yet. The next song I would pick is my song Again. I love a Janet ballad. People be trying to comfort Janet with her vocals, talking about she can't sing, she can't do this, she can't do that. Janet has one of those softest, prettiest voices on the planet, and you can totally hear that listening to this song. One of the prettiest songs ever. It's probably going to make you cry though, so be prepared to get into your feelings if you go listen to that track. My third pick would be If I was your girl, all the things I do to you. Come on. She was popping her there. Like, it's such a confident record. I love the music video, the choreography. Y'all know how we have viral TikTok videos and stuff like that, people doing viral dance challenges. This is what people were doing in the 90s. People were learning the choreography to that music video and like filming themselves on damn VHS recorders doing that choreography. So this is how pivotal she was when it came to being a pop star at that time. And that's why I appreciate her so much, because if it wasn't for Janet, y'all, we wouldn't have no Britney. We wouldn't have no Tinashe. We wouldn't have no Jay Stevens. So love her down for that. My second favorite Janet song is definitely Feedback, y'all. Now, this song holds a special place in my heart because in 2008, I got to attend this dance convention called NYCDA, which stands for, I think, New York City Dance Alliance. And they always picked a lot of people from So You Think You Can Dance to be the featured attendees of the weekend, which is super fun. But their classes were always packed out, so you didn't really get to be featured or seen or have like intimate moments with the teachers. I randomly decided to go take Tony Testa's class, and Tony Testa was the assistant choreographer for the music video for Feedback. And there was only 3 people that took that class. I pretty much got a personal lesson, and he taught us the choreo to the music video. I'm like freaking out to this day. Like, how did I get a personal class with this dude for such a legendary song, for such a legendary music video, for such an iconic artist? Plus, the song just hits. How the bass line slaps on that song is so funkadelic. Timeless record. Y'all gotta get into Feedback. Everybody know that song by now. But the ultimate, the truest #1 Janet Jackson song. I know everybody know this gonna be my pick. That's The Way Love Goes. I'm about to just go look out the window right now and watch the sunset and just absorb New York, because that's the way love goes. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's the frequency that we're on. And Janet really knows how to emit such. You don't gotta be screaming on the track. You ain't gotta be doing the most in order to convey feeling, tone. And that's what I love most about Janet Jackson. Each project, each song has its own energy, its own orb, its own flavor. And this particular one just always gets me into a trance of relaxation, which I feel that everybody deserves. Everybody deserves to have like calm nerves, cool, sophisticated vibes going on in their lives. So if you need that, go put on the queen. Go listen to my girl Janet and celebrate her legacy. I also got to see, shout out to my boy Hayden. We got to go see the Michael Jackson show on Broadway the other day, and that was insane as well. But that whole family, I hope that I'm tied to not necessarily a family like that, but I get to work with people that are that hungry about entertainment and showing their love for the arts, because I love it. I love people that are passionate like that and also are great reflections of the outcomes. Like, this music is timeless. The energies, the effort is timeless. And I love that. I'm so glad I was born a 90s baby. I'll never change that shit. Sometimes I do wish I was born in like the 80s, so I would have had a little access to the 70s, but we still got it a little bit. And I'm still a little technologically savvy, y'all. I can log on to Windows and open up Excel, okay? I can send my emails. Don't be lumping us millennials up there with the Gen X and the boomers, okay? With that being said, I hope y'all have a lovely, amazing rest of y'all's week. Thank y'all again. Always showing your girl love. Share this show with a friend that you know and loves everything all pop culture. Please go ahead, give it a 5-star rating. I love y'all down, and I'll chat with y'all next week. It's been Jared Bear signing out of the Weekly Rundown. Holla. I should have put someone to call my lover on the list, y'all.